So for the Conductivity Lab, first you will need to make a prediction for each of these substances on the substances list. After that, you'll be using a conductivity meter to determine if a substance is conductive or an insulator. So a conductor or an insulator. Now this is a conductivity meter. First, you'll need to make sure that it is turned on. Then you'll be using these two prongs over here on the left, and you'll put them in a substance. If the red and or the green light turns on, that indicates that the substance is conductive. What that means is that basically if those two leads, these two copper leads were to touch, the lights would turn on because a circuit is created. That's really what's going to be occurring with some of the conductors. If it somehow makes a connection between one of these metal rods and this other one, it will complete the circuit and the lights will turn on. So we're going to be doing that with this conductivity meter with each of these substances. So the first substance is going to be a rubber balloon. So the conductivity meter is still on. I'm going to place both leads on the conductivity meter. You need to write down if this is a conductor or an insulator. The next item will be acetic acid, which has a formula of CH3COOH. So for this one, I'm going to place the rods inside of the solution. Is this a conductor or an insulator? Now, one thing that I will need to be careful about is to make sure I do not cross-contaminate. So what I'm going to do is I am going to clean the test leads, so that way they will not contaminate the other containers. So I'm going to mat it with this paper towel to dry it off completely. So we have the balloon and the acetic acid. The next item is going to be our ethanol, which has a formula of CH3CH2OH. The next item will be our oil. So let's try to focus. Next item will be our distilled water. That is just going to be our pure water. Okay. So this is in the solution right now. Now, one thing that you might want to do while you're making these measurements is write down some observations about the intensity of the light. So this one is now going to be our tap water. Now is going to be our sugar water, C12H22O11, inside H2O. If it is lighting up, make sure that you indicate how strongly the light bulb is lighting up. That may indicate if this is going to be a strong conductor or a strong insulator. Next item is going to be our NaClH2O. That is our salt, the NaCl, in water. After that, I will be looking at aluminum foil. After the aluminum foil, I will be looking at a glass dish. Then I will be looking at an iron nail, which is made of entirely pure iron, which has a symbol of Fe. Then I will be looking at copper. This is pure copper, which has an atomic symbol of Cu. Next, I will be looking at the wooden splint. After the wooden splint will be plastic. I'm going to be using a plastic spoon here. After the plastic spoon, I will be using rubber tubing. You might recognize these from when we were working with Bunsen burners. This is a tube made entirely of rubber. Is rubber a conductor or an insulator? After the rubber tubing, we can look at solid potassium nitrate. This has a formula of KNO3, and the fact that it's a solid is indicated by this lowercase s. Okay, so this is inside of that powdered solid KNO3. Is this a insulator or a conductor? Next will be copper sulfate, which has a formula of CuSO4. Next will be aqueous KNO3. What we did was we took the KNO3 that was solid from a couple samples ago and added it to some water. Is the aqueous KNO3 an insulator or a conductor? Next we will be testing solid NaCl. This is going to be table salt, NaCl. Is salt an insulator or a conductor? Now we have normal sugar, C12H22O11. Sugar, is it conductive or an insulator? The next sample will be hydrogen peroxide. This has a formula of H2O2. Is hydrogen peroxide an insulator or a conductor? The last item will just be Gatorade. We decided to go with orange Gatorade here. So let's see if Gatorade is conductive. Make sure that you include your results for all of these substances, as well as any observations for the intensities of any of these substances, whether they are insulators or conductors.